Coast Podcast. I'm Shanegotyou11, and with me as always is Trey.
Yay, what's going on, everybody? We are back again for another episode of the West Coast Podcast. Hope you guys are doing good. Let me know in the comment section and in the chat if you guys had a good Thanksgiving. Feels like quite a while since we've been on the podcast. It was like last week was Thanksgiving, which honestly kind of feels like forever. I don't know if it's just me, but definitely good to be back. So Shane, how was your Thanksgiving and how have you been doing lately?
It was good. Thanksgiving was pretty good. I had a lot of fun, honestly, on Thanksgiving, but honestly, the rest of the time, I'm just trying to get in these tournaments, man. I just want these tournaments to hurry up and get going again.
Yeah. EA Sports definitely dropped the ball this year. I mean, I think we've said that quite a number of times. Um, but for those of you that are curious, we do believe that there's going to be one more tournament for sure,
At
and they're
least
going to
what my
be
guy is saying, man.
yeah.
And if he's wrong, he's fired, and I'm never using him again.
He's going to get blocked after that. But
Be like,
but
don't talk
per
to me.
but per his sources are going to be making an announcement in the year 2021.
Should be
So,
around January or February. He believes it'll come out in February now. He thought it was going to come out in December and then February, but EA's kind of scrapped the multiple tournaments because of the new generation, unfortunately, and he believes now that there's going to be a tournament in February. He believes it'll be LCQ more than MUT Draft, but it'll either be MUT Draft or LCQ.
yeah. I mean, I mean, we've talked about this before. I mean, I remember, I think it was pretty early and clubs were going on, but I think you came in and you said, "Oh, well, if you want to compete in the mud draft tournament, then you're gonna have to upgrade to next generation." And at the time when you said that, I kind of thought it was ridiculous. But I mean, now that the next gens come out and you can tell that EA is putting all their, resources into next gen, it kind of almost seems like it's a possibility still. But what do you think?
About the tournament,
Yeah, do you think that it's possible that you still might need next gen to compete or no?
I don't think it'll be on next generation to compete this year. I really don't. But
Okay.
even
Yeah.
though my sources said that there will be a tournament and he thought there was going to be two, then EA kind of cared more about next gen in his opinion and made it to only one more tournament in around February, he believes, and then they'll do the Madden Bowl. I think it's in April, and then everybody will have to have next gen if they want to compete in the MCS tournaments for Madden 22. I'm still like 30-70, honestly, Trey, that there will be a
Mhm.
tournament. I know my guy
Yeah.
says there will be guaranteed one more tournament, but it's just like, man, there's been no news, and most of the people have been done since what in clubs? When was I done? November?
Yeah, somewhere in there.
Yeah, early November. Yeah, and they haven't said anything,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
late October. I don't remember when, but they haven't. You know what I mean? They haven't said anything, and to me, it's like I don't know. I could see them coming out in December and being, or excuse me, in January and being like, there's not going to be any more tournaments. We want everybody to get used to the new generation consoles. We're going to have big tournaments and more tournaments in Madden 22. I could see them coming out with that dumb crap right there. That's my opinion. I'm not really sold that it'll be a tournament again.
Yeah, we'll see. And I mean, you don't have to tell. I guess the you don't have to give away like I guess your source, but I mean, if you can, like, is he like an employee that works at EA or is he just like kind of an insider or something like that?
He was support, and then he moved up, and how do I say it? He was support tech the first time I met him, and now
Right.
he puts input on developing certain things. I don't want to really say it, or people can start to guess who it is.
Right. Yeah, it's
I mean, because I don't
possible.
know how many people there are that do that. So,
Yeah, because there are I know that there's like multiple departments that work in Madden, which is like the tournament, like the MCS. I would imagine that's probably like a whole separate separate system. I know that I think his name's Marku or something. I think he's like the leader of MCS, but I don't know how they go about structuring these tournaments and how they go about planning it and all that.
yeah, I don't like see, and I'm not even completely so. I know he works on other games, so he might be a little bit of an insider for Madden, if that makes sense.
Right, right.
But I mean, like I said, he's been right on some stuff and wrong on other stuff. So I'm not entirely sure what he can and cannot say on certain things.
Right. All right, so let me ask you this. I mean, we've seen it was a while ago, but people were I mean, they were like saying that, Madden needs to pay out more money. And they started the whole fixed Madden price pool and things like that. So, do you think that they should give out more money? And do you think that there's people that work in EA that think that the MCS is like a waste of money, and that they have to try to like encourage people to keep it going?
I think I think what they did this year is really wrong, and it turned a lot of people off. I mean, you had major momentum after last year, all time
Yeah,
high for participants, all time high on you know what I mean, trying to compete. Same thing, but trying to do that, and then all of a sudden this year they kind of like stopped the train. You know what I mean? They stopped the momentum, and
yeah,
or I mean he, I almost said what he did, but
yeah.
anyways, I think they need to make it more money for people, but I think it needs to be spread out. Like I think people who make the online tournament should get paid something, in my opinion. What's up,
Yeah, I think
pizza?
so too. Yeah, I think so too. But do you think that for the most part, I mean, like you said, and last year in Madden 20, they were coming off a relatively good year. Of course, they got the whole backlash because someone won with a punter at quarterback. But you think for the most part that you think that MCS is like a good investment for EA as like a company?
Say that again. I'm sorry, it cut out. I will.
It's okay. Can you hear me better now?
Yeah,
Or
I think it was me,
okay.
man. I think I hit something. Hold on.
All
Hold on. Let me.
right.
Okay, never mind. I plugged it back. I think it was me.
Okay. No, but what I was gonna ask is that you said that Madden 20 was coming off of a good year in terms of MCS wise. Of course, they got a lot of backlash because someone ran won with a punter at quarterback. But do you think that for the most part that people at EA Sports, they think that MCS is a good investment and that it's something that they want to continue to invest in?
I actually think so. Honestly,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say they've made more money this year than they did the first two tournaments last year. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah. Do you think that I mean obviously with COVID kind of hit um at the Madden Bowl at the end of Madden 20. Yeah, Madden 20. I had to think about that, but I mean that's when they started doing the whole online tournaments back then. Uh do you think that at that time they had plans for Madden 21, like more tournaments, or do you think that if COVID never existed, that it would be kind of the same thing like
It,
this year in terms of tournaments?
yeah, I think personally, COVID ruined everything. I
Yeah,
think they would have came out with, because like I really believe what my insider said, that it was supposed to be late July. You know what I mean?
yeah,
In Madden 20 it was August 2nd or something like that, or July 29th, 3 day early, August 2nd national release if you didn't do the 3 day early. So there's no doubt in my mind that they were going to do it July 24th. Unfortunately, COVID hit in March. Everybody got sent home. Even that guy that I know, he actually was at home, you know what I mean, during
right.
the
Yeah,
horror ordeal. And so yeah, I think COVID ruined it. I think they're gonna have a lot of tournaments. I think their plans were still to do Derwin and the college tournament, but I also believe that they were planning on doing Regs tournament, Mutt tournament, or Mutt draft tournament, and then clubs, and then LCQ, just like every year. And I think COVID put a hitch to their plans. Then EA got greedy, and I think they thought, yo, we might not make that much money, so they only released one tournament.
right.
But in that one tournament, bro, and since, I'll just say that they've made 3.4 million more at this time in December than last year,
Yeah,
and that's off packs.
yeah. I mean, it is like a multi-billion-dollar industry. I mean, EA Sports,
Right, and that's
and
why I believe they're gonna. That's why my guy believes there's gonna be another tournament. I'm not sold, like I said. I maybe I'm being just pessimistic and nervous because I need one and want one. But I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
I think they were holding off to see what people, you know what I mean, spent money on.
Yeah, and I personally think that because EA Sports is worth the amount of money that it's worth, like I feel like if you're like the best Madden player in the world, you should be a millionaire. Like period. I mean, we're not talking about like a company that's only worth like a couple $1,000s, $500,000. We're talking like $1 billion. And who's like the best Madden player in the world? Drini, Joke, Skimbo, like
Well, here's my opinion.
yeah,
Fortnite, right? Fortnite.
yeah,
Remember when you and I looked that up? I don't know if it was last year or this year's podcast. I mean, the 2019 or 2020 podcast. I can't remember which year it was. But we spoke on the Fortnite and we looked that up. And I was like 50th place. And if 50th place would have been like 60K, remember? Or 56K if I was on Fortnite. And
yeah,
yes, there's way more people playing Fortnite. But I mean, how much money they're making. They're making millions of dollars. Like they made three. I don't even know the total, but I was told 3.4 more million dollars in pack openings this year already through December, and they're only giving away 750K
yeah.
to.
That's a problem.
Right, so
Yeah,
they already profited 2.7 million, and I don't even know what they made last year through this time. So if they made 2 million last year, let's just say, that means they made 5.4 million dollars through pack openings this year, and they only paid out 750K. That means they profited what, 4.9 or 4.8 million.
yeah. That's crazy.
So I'm just saying that yeah, they could pay out more. They could be like top 50 that are constantly in the leaderboards for top 50, or even not even that. You make online tournament, you each get $1,000, right?
Yeah,
And then you make a live event, it's 5 to 6K. It's just like here, EA's greedy. It's like some businesses out there that the CEO takes home $1 billion and pays his employees minimum wage.
yeah, yeah.
You're kind of greedy, you know what I mean? You're kind of
Yeah, that's kind
selfish.
of yeah.
And that's kind of what
I
EA
wonder.
does.
Yeah, I wonder how much the developers get paid a year.
I have no idea, man.
Yeah, might be
Uh,
something. Might be something we'd have to Google in the upcoming future. But well, and that leads me to my next question.
did you get my DM?
Actually, Oh, I'll go look at it right now.
Oh, never mind. I thought that's why you said. Never mind. Never mind.
Okay.
You can check when you want. But anyways, go ahead on your next question.
Yeah. I was gonna say, like, do you think that, like, if you were ever given an opportunity to, like, be an intern at EA Sports and, possibly, work as, like, a game, like, developer or something along there, like, would that be something that you would be interested in, or not really?
Do interns get paid or is it free? I can't remember.
I think it depends on the thing, but I guess for the sake, we'll just say that it's free. It's
Yeah,
free.
probably. I'd like to put my input, but see, I don't know how many people would like my input because I'd want the game more simulation. So,
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I personally don't really like one defense, but in the same sense, like, you got to figure out, you know what I mean?
Right, right. Do you think that do you think that, like, when you see, like, people doing, like serious mo, like with the whole announcing thing, would that be something that you'd like to do? Because I feel like that would be kind of fun.
Yeah, I do, and I actually think I'd be better than a lot of them.
Yeah.
I'm just being honest, man. I'm just being honest. I study, like, yeah, they might know more Madden technology than me, but I mean, you can study up for that. But like,
Yeah.
I, bro, all I did growing up was learn to announce and do all that stuff, man. I just personally think that there's certain people like you could tell who they like and who don't like. TD Davis they really like, and he's actually really good in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
So yeah. So if you ever became an announcer, you would rather be like the play-by-play guy
Play-by-play guy.
versus
What was that guy that was a real announcer? Help
Josh
me.
Lewin, I think.
Yeah, and he did
Yeah.
UCLA. He was awesome.
Yeah,
You could
I wonder. Yeah, he didn't come back for next year for some reason. I wonder
probably
why.
didn't have the money. They probably couldn't pay
Yeah,
him.
probably.
I wouldn't doubt if they paid him though for Madden Bowl.
Yeah,
And I could also see them saving up money, bro, and then make it next year like as legit as you can think of. Like I'm talking about like hiring real announcers, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
and then doing like just like one great user everybody loves. Like he's all right. He's a little over the top for me, but
yeah, yeah.
I mean I don't have a problem with him. Don't get me wrong. I mean he's a little over the top, and I wish I would have turned my announcing thing in when they asked for people,
Right,
and I
right.
never did that. Yeah, I never did that, and I should have, man. But that on that point, it is what it is. Like I would probably prefer calling baseball games in real life than Madden games because I'd be like, oh man, press, here we go again, 3rd and 5. You know what he's gonna do,
Yeah,
but
exactly.
I mean, it'd still be cool. Don't get me wrong, but it is weird watching, and it's really weird actually to me, in an odd sense of like maybe people that I like competed against, like maybe moving out of the spotlight for competitive to and became announcers. Like, what is Serious Mo doing? Does he even try to make the tournaments? I know he got eliminated by Young Tony, but like, is he taking into the serious or is he just like, yo, I'm an announcer now? Or like TD Davis, did he make a tournament? Did he make it?
The last I heard from T Davis was when he lost to Voltrax in the Cardinals club final, and Sirius Mo, I know Sirius Mo was in the Chiefs.
And he lost to Young
Yeah,
Tony.
yeah. Well, he also won a belt for the Regs tournament that year. Well,
No,
last
this year
year.
I meant he got eliminated by TD
Yeah,
Davis or
yeah,
T Davis. I keep saying TD Davis. I don't know why. T
yeah,
Davis.
yeah.
Excuse me. I apologize. T Davis. Uh, But yeah, I just don't know what they're doing. You know what I mean? Like, what happened to Skimbo? I
I mean,
still,
I
I still feel like he got what's that called? What did I use
silent
the word?
silent suspension.
Silent suspension. That's what I really believe. I don't give
Yeah,
a
well, he's
damn what he says right now.
yeah. Well, he's streaming. Did you see that he was streaming on Twitch now? I was watching it the other day. I was
I did see that. I think he got
yeah.
suspended though for the clubs. There's no way he's gonna miss a 750K tournament so he could play in a tennis match.
I kind of wanted to go in and say, "Hey, Skimbo, did you find out how to manipulate certain tennis animations to win?"
Right? He had a lot of people in there, I bet, huh?
Yeah, yeah,
Because that's what I was telling Iron. I said he's gonna have tons of people because they know who he is.
yeah. Nah, Skimbo, and and I was just kidding. I think that Skimbo is probably, in my opinion, I would probably say he's probably like top five Madden player of all time, in my opinion.
Now, question for you, Trey.
Yeah.
You're always the questionnaire. Um, do you believe? Okay, me and you and I have had this discussion a plethora of times, and my question to you is: I was reading what 49er Life or whatever his gamer tag is or whatever he goes by. It said that
Earl, it's you have to say Earl year is what they're calling it these days. So
oh
it's
Earl
Earl.
Year. Okay, Earl Year. Okay, on Twitter I saw that he challenged Problem to a PS4 match for money.
When
Problem
was
never
this?
Problem
Oh,
never replied, as far as I know.
right, right.
And I saw a few of them say that Problem hasn't won since he can't find any glitchy plays that other people don't know about. Do you agree? Or do you think he just was a big fish in the small pond like I think?
No. I think that the reason that Problem was able to have success from MCS. I mean, he didn't win a belt, but he had some success in MCS and going back to his glory days when he was winning pretty much every single tournament. But I think the reason that he's been so successful is that he doesn't like rely on something. He doesn't rely on gimmick plays. So like if Wildcat, some people there's a Madden that fits them the best. They find the glitchy stuff in that year, and then the next year they're never heard from again. But what makes Problem the best, in my opinion, is that he knows how to like manage the clock. Like he knows how to do the simple stuff. Like he's always going to run on first down. He's always a run first player, and pretty much everything that, in my opinion, a great man player should have, he has to a T. But I do think he was a big fish in a small pond. But I don't think it's because you know because and that is a bigger conversation, with Twitch and ebooks coming out. So you can't really come up with a unique scheme that no one's seen before. Like if you try it online, someone's just gonna copy you. But I think it's just Problem just knows how to manage a clock, and that's why he's always going to be successful in whatever Madden comes out, because that's always going to be a thing that you have to know how to do. So yeah.
You know, I I personally think he's a very good player, okay? Actually, I think he's a great
Yeah,
player.
yeah.
I think he's a great player. But I do think it makes it way easier. Like we've had this conversation a lot of times. I made a live event when he last won it. So his last live event win, which was a huge win, 140K, that's great money. You know what I mean? I made it. And I was way worse back then. Like I said plenty of times, I would smash the old me. You know what I mean? So I
Yeah,
think there's a lot of worse players out there that made tournaments back in the day, and he only had to worry about 4 or 5 players. and then it's basically any given Sunday. Whereas now he has to go through Dreeny, he has to go through Skimbo, he has to go through Kiv, he has to go through Decroft, he has to go through Little Man, let's just say. He has to, you know what I mean, and so on,
Yeah.
so on. And my thing is also he was one of the first peoples to have huge crews.
Yeah.
So
Well, yeah. I think he was the founder of 818.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
yeah, pretty much because I remember like back in Madden 17, it was Young Kid when he was just starting up, and then he had a True Boy and a few others in there as well. So yeah,
And
I
you know
do
what?
remember that.
Going on that topic, and of course I'm giving, it sounds like an excuse here, but it's just really my opinion. But that's another reason why I think I might beat like top players during the grind, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
And then maybe struggle in the tournament at times because then they have their crew helping lab versus my plays. Do you see what I'm saying? Like in the grind, they just play.
yeah, yeah.
In the tournaments, they lab, and you can even throw me out. That's why everybody was like, "Damn, D Jones won it or almost won it all without having help. Noah won it all without having help." The reason why people think it's amazing is because they were doing it by themselves.
Yeah, yeah.
That's all what I'm saying. Like, I'm not trying to give myself an excuse. I just was trying to throw that out there because I did see where Kiv said that like crews help or whatever.
Yeah, and I don't think that it has to be like I don't think you have to like be in a crew with like Young Kiv or Skimbo or Joke. I mean, I think it would help obviously, but I think that because two brains always work better together versus one. I think that's what the phrase is.
Yeah, and well, and
So
especially if you're both good.
yeah, and if both of you are like have like the same dedication for
Yep,
it as
same
well. That's a
same
big thing.
drive, bro. I agree. Like, bro, like 818, they're always playing. You know what I mean? They're
Yeah,
always playing. That's why the whole thing is like, oh, you won't see me until summertime again. Why? Because pardon my language. Dang, I find myself. Um,
yeah,
they they take it serious, bro. And people are like, oh, well, you need to get a real job, or it's because they don't have jobs, yada yada. Why would they need real jobs if they're pulling in 50 to 200K a year? You know what I mean? And working
exactly.
and working
Exactly.
8 months a year, and then from May through late July, they get to go on trips, they get to do whatever they want. It sounds like a lot of jealousy. You know what I mean? And
Yeah, I'd be jealous too.
well,
Shit.
yeah, and it's like, bro, honestly, that's why they disappear. Like, that's why the whole joke is like, come August 1st, let's just say, you don't see them leave the house until April. Like, I read a story that Clef said that when the tournaments are going on and the grind's going on, he barely spends any gas money because he's always at home. That's
Yeah,
dedication.
yeah.
You can like him or not, but that's dedication.
So in a way, it's almost like an athlete in a certain way.
Yeah, no, it
Well, not
really is. Like they work from they do 10 hours a day, 9 hours a day, 5 6 days a week for 8 months. Kind of like who could I say, a baseball player who does 5 6 months. You know what I mean, or 7 months.
yeah,
Even football does 5 months or 6 months. Yeah, and then they get like, if they're good enough, they get 3 4 months off where they can go on vacation. Like like how you gonna hate, man? Like if they say, "Hey Shane, you're gonna pull out in 100K this year from Madden," I'm gonna be like, "Cool," and then people are gonna be like, "Haha, you play Madden? You're a bum. You're an old guy playing Madden." I'm gonna be like, "Yep, have fun working at Burger King." Like, and
yeah,
not nothing against Burger King workers. I'm saying like you're making fun of somebody because they play a video game that makes 6 figures a year while you're making minimum wage.
yeah, exactly. Not that there's nothing wrong with minimum wage, but
No, but
we're
you
just
get my point because I'm talking about the guys that are being jerks to people making their own money, but
yeah,
then making way less. Like I would never hate like TD Barrett, what he did was the smartest thing ever. He made himself look way better than he really was for the longest time, right? He put
Yeah.
out interesting content. I mean, I didn't watch, but put out interesting content, and now he's like, damn, I want part of that competitive scene. So then he hires out, top pros.
Yeah. I mean, it was cool, and TD Barrett, I think it's cool because he's mostly known for YouTube, but I mean, he was kind of like me, like because like me, like I kind of grew up watching, Madden Nation, which was like where they were all on a bus back in the day, and and he wanted to be a part of the community scene, and I feel like a lot of YouTubers, which I don't know if it's like for a good reason, but I feel like probably a lot of them kind of look down on us, but
I think it's a double-edged sword. I actually
yeah,
give credit to TD Barrett for making the plunge. Yes, he has a lot of money, so if he gets embarrassed and people make fun of him and he loses subs, now he's rich, right? He's
yeah, it
rich.
doesn't even matter. Yeah,
Like
yeah,
I know, including myself at times, it's always in the background of my mind. And I know other YouTubers, they're afraid to lose on stream.
yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
Like, make content and then get your butt whooped. Like, can you imagine people that subbed to me a few days ago where I lost 4 games in a row? They're gonna be like, why am I taking Madden tips from this guy?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it makes it look way better if like I kind of like only upload games that I win because then people are like, damn, he's so good. You know what I mean? That's the risk, and that's what I give credit to like TD Barrett for. He jumped into the pool. Yes, he's rich,
Yeah.
so it's not going to be that big of a backfire, but it's crazy. Is Throne's just a YouTuber, right? Or is he a pro?
He's both like on Twitch and on YouTube, but I would say he's more of a YouTuber.
Okay, because that's what one day I saw him play Joke for like a $2,000 game. I don't know if it's the right amount, but something like that. And
Yeah.
people were absolutely amazed that he was getting beat on his channel.
Yeah.
Like who Joke's beating him? Like what the hell? Come on, Throne! I see you win all the time. And then some people were like, "Yeah, this is what happens when you play a comp player." You know what I mean? When you're playing a
Yeah,
top pro player,
exactly. Yeah,
that's
yeah.
there's a difference. And yeah, it totally makes it look different. Like if I just play like what TD Barrett did, like 15-year-olds or 16-year-olds or just average like players, I'm gonna look like a god. You know what I mean? I am. But then if you throw me in against like Joke or Skibble or Kiv, who's a bad matchup, I'm gonna look like a juvenile against him.
Exactly.
Now I think I'm better than I thought I was better than TD Barrett before he started getting trained,
Yeah, yeah.
but I'll still put my money on it. Anyways, but yeah,
Yeah, and I think Throne. I mean, I think people think that he's good, but I think that he's probably more known for like his antics, like in terms of like like being like yelling all the time and just being over the top versus being like actually good. But
yeah, but I was still surprised, man. There were so many people, bro, in there that day that were absolutely flabbergasted. No lie. Like, what are you doing, Throne? You usually win, man. Are you letting them? What is going on? And I'm just like, wow, okay.
it's not like I remember I first when I first heard about him is when he played Siwoo on stream,
Yep.
and like and there was like a 3 game span where like he played Siwoo and Siwoo didn't score a single point on him, but then I remember he played Dubby on stream, and then he got for like $1,000 or something, and then he got blown out.
Like,
So
I
well,
think Throne's a good player, bro. I do.
yeah, I think so too.
I think he's a really good player. I think he might
Yeah,
give me trouble or might beat me. I don't know. I've never played him. You know what I mean? And when it comes down
yeah,
to somebody
yeah,
who's really good, it's matchups. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
like Joke is the top, regardless if he's a crybaby. You know what I mean? Like people say or whatever. He's an elite player. He's the 1% of the 1%.
Yeah, he's the one. He's like the 1% of the 1%, definitely.
And that's like something even for myself, Trey, that I personally have to get better on. Because like, do I think I'm a top player? Yeah, I do think I'm a top player. Do I think I'm the 1% of the 1%? No, not yet. Not in MUT for sure. In regs, I feel like it can compete with anyone. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
But there are times like I turn on the game and I'm just like, damn, I kind of suck today. Like I'm not making my reads,
yeah,
and I don't believe
yeah.
the 1% of the 1% do that. I don't.
So you think the 1% of the 1% is like they don't have bad games? They're like always like gonna, they're always gonna win because I've seen some records like in clubs. Like I think Wesley, for example, I saw his record and he was like 73-6 or something like that. So
And that's what I'm saying because he's the 1% of the 1%, the top. So, yeah, I think like the
yeah,
games he lost, I think that the other person just played better or had a matchup against him. You know what I mean?
right, right.
And like there's days that I turn on the game, and if that tournament was today, let's just say on the day that I'm rolling, I'm making a live
Yeah,
event. I don't care who I play.
yeah,
I'm making a live event, unless it's a bad matchup like a Kiv or a Skimbo, right? But then there's some days that I'm not beating Johnny down the street. And
yeah,
that's what I think is the difference. Like I think when they turn on the game, they lock in. They don't screw up. I guess is what I'm saying. Like
yeah,
the guy that played, who was it? Dreamy? Did I text you that he was like 21-15 on the
yeah,
PS4 side?
yeah.
He was
They
trash,
whooped
bro.
him. Yeah, yeah.
He was trash. So like if I would have been in that on that side,
You would
I,
have beaten him. Yeah,
yeah, I think I would have made a live event. Now I would have probably lost to Drini, or I don't know. I don't think I've ever played Drini, so I don't know how I'd match up. And
yeah.
I
That's
know
a
it
good
sounds
point.
crazy because most people would put the money on Drini, and that's fine, respectively so. But
Yeah,
people also were putting money on Serious Mo to beat me in the tournament when I didn't know who Serious Mo was.
yeah. Any given Sunday, it could
But that's what
happen.
I'm saying, and it's matchups. Like, yeah, Drini might just put the work in me. He might bend me over and become my daddy. But
Yeah,
but at the same time,
yeah.
how do we know for sure? Like nobody would expect my career record to be 6-2 against Kit or against Clef. Nobody
Yeah.
would. If they're like, "Hey Shane," or if I told everybody, "Hey, I made Clef block me on Gamersloon because I beat him so much," you think anyone would believe that, Trey?
Probably not. No, probably.
Right, but I,
Yeah.
I I think I sent you the screenshot of him.
Yeah, I've seen it, so I can
Yeah.
confirm.
I don't like yeah, I don't troll. I don't make up stuff. You know this, Trey. You've known me long enough like I'm not really a good troller.
Yeah.
And but nobody would believe that. Like he would tell everybody, "Yeah, right, that never happened," and people would be like, "Yeah, Shane's lying," but I'm blocked. The last money game, yes, it was years ago, but I beat him, and he blocked me because he didn't want to play me anymore.
Yeah.
And I mean, he beat me last year in MUT Draft, and I asked him to play money games, and he didn't want to play me in money games. So,
Right.
I mean,
Right.
it is what it is. Like people know, like who was it? It wasn't Civil. Maybe it was Civil. I don't remember. But there's one guy who said, oh, he was arguing. Oh, it was Manu Ginobili, whatever the Got Pro's real name is, but his name's Manu Ginobili on Gamersloon
Yeah.
because he looks like Manu. But he even told Sticky, our guy, that Regs is a different beast than Mutt. You can be way better at Regs than Mutt, or vice versa.
Yeah. Well,
So
which is why I give Throne credit because he said the same thing. So
yeah, that's what I mean
and
because
he's like,
it's
well,
true.
yeah,
I mean, you watched me in that Regs $1,000 tournament. I looked really good. Not to toot my own horn, but I think I looked better than on MUT draft or on MUT tournaments.
I think you looked pretty good. I think you probably would have beat the EMB member personally. I think.
Yeah, actually, you know what? I've played him
Yeah.
twice, so we'll leave it at
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I'm 1-1 against him. So it was yeah. What was his name? I can't remember. I know who you're talking about. He's Johnny or whatever on PSN, but Yeah, it wouldn't have been. It's weird how matchups are because the guy that I lost to, which I should have won, Doink.
Yeah, yeah,
And anybody will know if you ever want to know what I'm talking about. Doink, go or Trey's talking about. Go look at the
yeah,
Regs
yeah,
tournament. I win that game,
yeah,
right? I
yeah,
beat Mute is cool because I played him tons of times and beat him, and he doesn't want to play my gamer soon anymore.
yeah,
And
yeah.
so then I'm in the championship against EMB. I'll tell you this right now. I lost to him last year, 13-10. He blew out the guy that I doinked. Like what was
Yeah.
it, 38-10 or something, 38-7.
Yeah.
He blew him out, and it's matchups. That's what people need to understand. But yeah, anyways,
Yeah. All right. Well, with all that being said, we've been doing a lot of reg stalking, but if you guys have been in the stream for like the last couple weeks, you would know that Shane has jumped into the weekend league um, circuit over the last couple weeks. So I guess if you could give your opinion on on how you like weekend league, like, and your opinions about it, like, what would you say are some goods and some cons about it?
the goods are its comp, and comp is always fun.
Yeah, I agree.
Uh, Also learning the meta at times it's utterly annoying. It's utterly frustrating. It makes me want to smash my head through the TV, run outside, scream, "I hate the world."
Yeah.
But it's a good pro because you learn. You know what I mean? As you saw as you saw before, you just learn a lot of stuff. The cons to me is I feel still like Mutt is very who you have, how much money you spent, how much your top players are. You know what I mean? That's my biggest con
Yeah, yeah,
because that's I think what I struggle with Mutt compared to Regs because with Regs is everybody's Tampa Bay or everybody's KC or everybody's the Ravens, right?
yeah, yeah.
So then you can just play like that. But like there will be times in weekend league tonight or tomorrow or Saturday that I log on and I turn it on and I go against guys who have 97, 98 players now because we're getting near where they're 97, 98 players. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
they kind of lock me up. And I have no, and the equivalent, honestly, to break it down, Trey, it would be like if I got the Kansas City Chiefs, which I don't know what their overall is, so I'm going to make it up, 92,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And then I
Right.
get the Seahawks who are an 86, 87. That's kind of how it would be. Or even if you want to get it closer, 92 versus 89. There's a reason why the team's in 92 and the other team's in 89.
Yeah.
But I mean, so I mean, it's fun. It's fun, and I'm gonna predict I'm gonna have probably 17 or 18 wins again.
All right. Fair. Do you think that um like if we're talking about, like Madden 16, like when you first started playing Madden, maybe even in Madden 13, do you think that, back then, if you were more skilled than the guy, and they had a way better team, that, maybe back then you would be able to beat them, or do you think it was about the same, that you would really have a shot if they had the better team?
Um, Here's how I think. Okay, let's say, and I'm gonna make an example because I don't know how to explain it any other way. So I
Yeah,
apologize.
yeah,
I'm getting to your question.
yeah,
It's why in Madden 13 everybody used the 49ers.
yeah,
It
yeah,
was 49ers for 49ers. I was one of three people in that tournament to not use the 49ers, which I regret to this day
yeah,
in the live event. But at the same time, I do believe now I believe that if you're better than somebody, like enough that you can win with an 89 team if they have a 92 or 93 team. I've done it on money games. But
yeah,
I think that if like me and you are equal and you have a 93 team or I have a 93 team and you have an 89 team, I'm probably going to win unless you make a dumb mistake.
right, right.
So yeah. So I mean, it depends. Like I mean, did you ask me if I was better skilled back then or now?
Or no, I was just saying like because the way that Madden is, like, do you think that like because the Ultimate Team was around like in Madden 16 or whatever, so do you think that do you think that like in that version of Ultimate Team that you could possibly beat someone if you had like a 60 overall team and they had like a 90 team and you were like way better with
Like way way better, or just like somewhat?
like somewhat. So,
No, no. I think the
yeah.
teams matter. Like, for example, like I'll use the 49ers in Madden 13. Like I'd come across with Patrick Willis and hit stick people and they'd fumble all the time almost.
Yeah.
And and that's what would happen in Madden 16. Even as bro, like I said, Madden 16 was probably my best year for upsetting pros over and over. Okay, and
Yeah.
I don't think it would like yeah. I mean, if I would have had an 85 team and they had an 88 team and I was better, then yes. And like yes, I do think, but like you've been in my streams tons of times, bro, where they just have 97, 98 cornerbacks and they just press and shade over the top or shade outside.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you can't get off the line, and eventually, like, I make a dumb mistake because I'm a Stevie sometimes, and it is what it is. Now, Madden 16, I'm not so sure, like, I would have upset Serious Mo or Hollywood or Prime Time if it was Mutt. I just don't know if Mutt is my thing. Like, am I good still? Yeah. I mean, it's
Yeah.
not like I play Regs and I'm legit, and then I play Mutt and I'm trash. I'm still good in Mutt. Don't get it twisted. But I don't know how I would have done in Madden 16.
Yeah. Yeah, there was no abilities. I think the abilities definitely make a difference because yeah, they have abilities in regs, but everything's preset in regs. So I think that the abilities. I mean, there were chemistries back then, but I mean with the abilities,
It's
definitely.
totally different now. Like I mean,
Yeah.
like Madden. When did I lose to Kiv in the championship game to go live? Madden 19. Yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
even know what I was doing.
You had no
I
idea.
had no idea.
Yeah.
I had no
Yeah.
idea. I had no idea who like to use Coleman as running back, even though he was a crappy card. Um, I
You
didn't
didn't
know.
know you didn't know the Troy Apke's of the world back then.
Yes, yes, and now I kind of do
Yeah,
more, so I'm learning more. But like I said, I'll probably go to Seattle, or I might do Jacksonville next year. I don't give a damn, like,
yeah, yeah,
because people are scared to go to Seattle or Jacksonville.
yeah.
Dreeny's eight
And
one
the
eight.
and the ones that and the ones that do decide to go to Jacksonville probably are just like locals that don't really know what's going on. So
Yeah,
it
yeah,
might be an easy route. So
21-15, dog.
yeah,
That's embarrassing. I don't care what
it
anyone
really
says.
is.
That's embarrassing. You're in the championship and you're 21-15. You're a 500 team. Couldn't be me. But I mean, what do I know? I was a 90% winning
Yeah.
percentage this year and I lost. So he made money, I didn't. So then he's a winner in the end. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right, so Shane brought this up to me while we were talking in our Discord the other day, and we were actually talking about 49er. And I was like, yeah, well, a lot of people seem to think that his game against Samoa's finest was an example of dynamic difficulty adjustments. Um, so someone put out a video and it got a lot of views, and Shane said that he wanted to talk about it, so I guess I'll give my 2 cents first. Um, I do think that it's weird that so that like his defensive lineman randomly intercepted a pass. Like that's something that you don't see a lot. And the diving interception was a little bit crazy, but I still don't think that there's an equalizer in the game. I think that if you average your game experiences out throughout all modes, then I think you would see that it's pretty balanced overall. And if there is like dynamic difficulty adjustment, then how are people like Wesley going like 76-5? Like that just doesn't make sense to me if there is an equalizer in the game. So that's kind of how I look at it. But there are definitely games where you feel like not only are you playing your opponent, but you're also playing EA. And I joke about that all the time in streams, but do I really believe in it? No, not really. So that's kind of how I look at it. But what do you think, Shane? What do you?
I think I think it's just an excuse when you lose.
Yeah,
That's what I
exactly.
really think. Here's what I saw when I watched the clip. He does a good job of trying to manipulate you into believing that DDA is real.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got a silver tongue. I listened to how he spoke. I mean, I've researched a bunch on psychology. I know when people have a silver tongue, and a silver tongue means that they can make you buy ice cubes in the dead of winter. They can sell you sand at a beach. I mean, so to me, nah. There's been games that I've blown people out and made them quit at half. I mean, a lot of times. I mean, Trey's in the stream. Why didn't they make
Yeah.
them come back? Why didn't they make me do something like weird? There's been times I've been blown out. How come they didn't let me come back? I just don't believe it. I think Uncle Mo. Yeah, if you ever listen to sports announcer or like Dick Vitale, you know who Dick Vitale is at all, Trey?
No, I don't
Oh
think
man,
so.
he's a college basketball national treasure, and he'll always be like, "You got Uncle Mo on your side, baby." Um,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
basically, what it is you got momentum, and whatever reason, 49ers scored that touchdown, and then he got the pick, correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think the momentum was already switched by then. You have to get the momentum back, and if it feels like DDA, that's because the momentum is no longer in your side. There's been times that I've played that I have thrown a horrible pick. The guy runs it back, touchdown. He stops me, I punt, right? He has all the momentum, but then I pick him, and all of a sudden the momentum changes back. That's like real football. That's real sports. So to me, DDA is
Exactly.
just another
Yeah.
poor excuse. I have friends, I have people that I'm cool with on Madden that blame DDA for everything. And I'll never agree with them. I disagree with them. And if I find out when I'm 80 years old that all the games were preset and it was they just wanted like the Wesleys and the Skimbos and the Kivs to win it all the time, well, then that's what it is. But it's not because Kiv would have won way more times. You know what I mean? He was a young, fresh upcomer. Like,
Yeah.
oh man, look at this. People were like, look at the pretty boy with $200 jeans, which is still weird to me because we're playing Madden.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyways, um, so why wouldn't you want, and I'm going to put quotation marks, a pretty boy with swag that they called it, winning all the time? It'd bring in girls, it'd bring in way more competitors. You know what I mean? But he
Well, I
didn't.
mean, yeah. Well, I mean, he did have that one time where like D Jones was beating him up, and he was like, he was like, I don't know if you've seen him at 17, and I'm gonna like already put $5 in the jar. Like I'm already gonna say that I'm gonna cuss before I'm gonna cuss. But he's like, "You fucking suck, D Jones," and then he like raged or whatever. So I think that kind of killed his character a little bit. But
Yeah, and I mean, dude, like, I honestly think Kiv was, and I'm going to say this and I'm going to be honest, I think he was a huge bully until the shooting happened.
yeah, yeah, and then the shoot, and then that kind of changed his ways
Yeah, he
after
realized that
that.
he was a dead man. Honestly, I'm not being joking. I'm not being rude. I'm not taking shots at him or anything. He found out that he was a target, and he was lucky that he got eliminated. And then
Yeah,
he
yeah,
probably thought like, "Damn, I better change my ways." You know what I mean? This is
yeah.
an eye opener. But from what I've read, I'm not going to say it because I'd get hated on, so I'm going to move past this topic. But I personally think that DDA is just a sorry excuse. Like,
Yeah.
why in money games would I be like 210? Like, yeah, I don't always play the best players, but I blow some of them out right away. Why wouldn't they turn the game around? You know what I mean? I just feel like DDA is an excuse like, "Oh, you lost, so DDA ruined it," because no way could I lose. The game had to cheat me. And yeah, sometimes the game does feel like it's against you. You know what I mean? Like you run the
Yeah,
ball and
yeah,
they hit sticky with the computer and the ball fumbles, or um, you hit stick them and it doesn't happen. And for me, it's like I mean, I've had it happen. Like, I think it was last night. I was up 2 touchdowns, and I did a play action, and I broke the tackle with the QB twice, and then they made me fumble for 6. But
Yeah.
that's what happens in
And
real life. I mean, so for me,
yeah.
just to sum it up, I don't really believe in DDA. The only time I ever got into the only conspiracy theory I really buy into was with Mutt Draft, where they predetermine your playbooks.
Yeah.
And like that, remember that Madden 19, all the top pros got their playbooks.
Yeah, I remember you telling me about that.
That like, there's no way. That's too fake. Pizza. I'm
Yeah.
gonna start the stream right after I get off with the podcast.
Yeah, so definitely be on the lookout for that. And I guess to summarize, I mean, if and again, like if you believe in DDA, then you kind of already lost. Like they say that once you fear something enough, it becomes real. Like that, like if you're scared enough of something, you make it become real. Like you give it power over you. So if you play Madden, you think, oh well, this is predetermined. I'm going to get the loss. Then you kind of already lost when you said that already. If you're
Fully
like,
agree. It's called by association, and basically your brain, like, let's just say like one day you're walking down a street and a dog comes up, right?
yeah, yeah,
And you run from the dog, right? You're like, oh my gosh, that dog's gonna bite me, blah blah blah. Your brain perceives it as it really happened, right? So
yeah,
now every time you see a dog, you're afraid of the dogs, and then you turn away and run away. You're just strengthening the fear instead of letting the dog come to you and breaking the fear cycle. So same thing with DDA. If every time the game's close and you do something poorly or whatever happens in the game and you blame DDA, your brain really will start believing, like you said, that DDA is real.
yeah. That's 100%. That's 100% facts. And a lot of people say that, oh well, Madden coders, they can't code a good game to save their life, but then turn around and say that they're apparently they're like scientists and like brainiacs to put DDA in the game.
I know, that's
Like,
what's always fun to me. Man, these guys can't make a game to save their life. They lose. DDA!
yeah, yeah.
What was the poll question winner? Do you remember?
I'm gonna have to go to the community
Oh, okay.
tab
Nope,
on it,
nope, nope.
but
I remember. Actually, I'll just say, okay, it's craziest fight that ever you've had. You can go first, Trey. Have you had a fight or no?
I haven't really been into fights that much. I'm gonna substitute that by telling you a time where um I played flag football when I was a kid. I believe I was young, whatever. And we were playing flag football, and it was like after practice, and you know how sometimes when you're a kid and people are like roughhousing you and just kind of like pushing you around and
Yeah.
stuff like that. We were doing that, and then some kid came up from behind me and then tackled me, and then I ended up breaking my arm right there. So
Okay, that is an ouch.
yeah.
That's crazy.
Thankfully, yeah. Thankfully, though, it happened at the Boys and Girls Club back then. So they ended up paying for the surgery and everything. But yeah,
Yeah.
that was yeah.
One time not as bad is the only time I ever broke my bone, right? Is I was
Yeah.
playing flag football, middle school at my school,
Yeah.
and it got caught in the hole of the flag, or it used to be a belt or something, right? And it
Yeah.
got
Yeah.
caught in the hole, and then when I went to pull on it, it like broke my finger.
Damn.
And
Damn.
my PE teacher was like, "Yo, it's just a jam. Let me pull it out." And I'm like, "Nah, don't touch it.
Yeah.
Don't touch my finger because it was the bottom part." And and we went home, and I didn't let him touch it, and it was broken. It cracked completely on the bottom half, which is crazy because all the stuff I've done, like slipping, falling, playing sports. I've had a major concussion when I played outdoor sports. I was like 150 pounds at the time, and my buddy who was about 230 trucked me and my head bounced off the ground. It was like fall or winter, whenever the ground was kind of hard. And that whole night, I threw up all night with my wife there. I mean, she was my girlfriend at the time, but all day, all night, no lie. And then later on, as I got older, I'm like, damn, I had a concussion, I bet. So I was really
Yeah.
lucky. Like I was like, I mean, it was like, yeah. So I mean, just like that, or I've had basketball where a guy grabbed my pinky and pulled on it to not let me get through the screen, and my, the top part of your pinky where you have like little indents,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
top third just completely fell apart. Like he
Damn.
pulled the
Damn.
ligament off the top pinky. So yeah, I definitely nothing as bad as breaking your arm. The partially torn Achilles that I had sucked. But yeah, nothing like you, man. Nothing like having a broken arm. I bet that cast smelled, huh?
Yeah, I mean the only other time, like I did get my tonsils taken out when I was a kid, and I had a pretty scary situation with that as well because when I got my surgery, I guess when I went to sleep the next day, I guess the the stitches or whatever they put into it opened up, and then I started coughing up blood and stuff like early in the morning. So that was pretty scary, but
Yeah, that's
yeah,
horrible. You bro, one here I'll tell you a story that my wife had. I mean,
yeah,
so she got braces, right? And that back
right,
in the day braces, and so she had a metal thing put in her mouth. It was like a bar. She woke
yeah,
up and it had gone through her tongue.
damn. So
So
she
she
got
has
her
a
tongue pierced,
she had
basically.
she has a huge like probably 2-3 inch scar on her tongue.
Damn, damn.
Yeah, that's gross.
Uh,
Craziest fight that I've been in. I mean, I got a lot. I mean, there's one at the Chiefs game where a brawl broke out over my kid. There's one at the EW back in the day when the guy tried to jump my dad, and I started whooping his butt, and then his brother came and started and cracked me over the head with a um, skateboard 4 times and knocked me out, and then my brother knocked him out. I mean, I had one in Coeur d'Alene, man, where my brother punched a guy. The big guy came and punched my brother. His guy was probably like 6'4", 225, like just pure athleticism. I'm just gonna be honest, you know what I mean?
yeah.
So I swung like Mike Tyson, and I dropped him with one punch. And honestly, it fractured my hand. And for a month and a half, I couldn't squeeze it. All I remember when I hit him was him go like a woman. And like I'm just being
Yeah.
honest, like bro. And then I had a guy. He was about 50 years old at the time, but like 6'6", 265. He used to be an amateur boxer for Gonzaga and back in the day. And he kept trying to swing his elbow, and we were playing basketball. And I said, "Hey, you do this again, man, I'm going to punch you. I'm not like the other kids, right?" I was probably 22, 23. And he dropped an elbow on my forehead, bro, so hard, and it made me fall down. And he stood over me and smirked. I got up and threw a right cross and cracked him in his jaw, and he didn't do anything. I think I stunned him, honestly, like a stunner, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
they broke it up. Well, then he came up to me later and he said I had it coming to me, right? But on his
Yeah.
jaw, he had a huge swollen bruise on there. So I cracked him pretty good. And the funny thing, what I remember from that is one of the referees was like, "That was an amazing punch that kid had, but I would have knocked him out." And I look at the guy and he's like 5'5" and like 90 pounds. No, you wouldn't have, bro.
Jesus. Yeah.
No, you wouldn't have. And it's funny how guys are when they see fights. Like, I would have beat him up or I would have knocked him out, right? Nah, some people can take a punch. Like, that guy was a former boxer. You know what I mean? Probably wasn't
Yeah.
the smartest of my time because he would have whooped my butt. He was way bigger and he was a former you know what I mean, a former boxer. But I'm dumb when I get mad, so not the smartest person. My brain shuts off. I become a cave person. I mean, so yeah. I mean, like I said, man, that I just grew up different, man. I just grew up different. Like one time I was in high school. This is when I got suspended, I believe, like 44 or 45 days. A kid that lived by me said, and I'm gonna say the quote so I can't get fined. He said, "Yeah, if I ever catch your mom, I'm gonna rape her when you're not home."
Damn. Damn.
Yeah, and he was a little bit
Yeah.
off, bro, and he was a little bit crazy, and I caught him in the bathroom in high school, and I bounced his head off the mirror, and I'll just say that it
Yeah.
wasn't that friendly, and it shattered the mirror and it shattered his forehead, and I got suspended. I mean, one of the security guards grabbed me and slammed me into the chair on the ground. I mean, so yeah, so like I'm not just one of those people that are talking to sound cool. Like, I mean, the topic winner was craziest fights. I mean, I don't know what you'd pick. I mean, I guess, I guess, the EW one because my dad who, well, I mean, if my dad who was like, it was super tough in his 40s, bro. Like one day we were
Yeah.
at Colville, right? And I know, and these guys tried to jump my brother, and my dad cleared them all out by himself.
Why did they try to jump your brother though in the
Because my
first
brother
place?
was running his mouth on the basketball
Oh,
court because we were playing 3-on-3, and
yeah.
they were running their mouth too. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And he went on the sideline, and the two tried to come up behind him and jump him, and my mom yelled, "Rick, Rick, Rick! They're gonna jump Zeke!" And I'm like, and I look over, and I was young, man. I was just 14,
Yeah.
and these were college kids, and my dad cleared them all out, three guys by himself, and they're
Yeah.
decent
Yeah.
sized guys. But see, my dad was 6'3", 220. Like he grew up like I'll just say this. My dad would have broke me off something proper if we were fighting each other until he had his hip surgery a few years ago. And I'm saying that as a 36-year-old man who thinks that he can handle his business. My 67-year-old dad would have whooped my ass then. Still, pardon my language, $1, fine. I'll just,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying he grew up. You know what I mean? He grew up on a way rougher life than I had. Went to 6 high schools. Uh, got in fights all the time, but I mean, he turned his life around when he married my mom. Then he had a good city job, but that's not the point. He still had that temper in him. You know what I mean? He didn't bully people, but I mean, bro, if you would have saw it, or if it would have been where cameras were now, like cell phones, you know what I mean? It'd have been World Star all over, bro. Like he punched the kid so hard, the kid flew over the mailbox. And then,
Yeah.
yeah, then he elbowed the other kid in the face as hard as he could and broke his tooth, and like blood was squirting out. And he picked the kid up, choked him, and threw him to the ground. And the other kid ran back, and my dad just punched him again and knocked him to the ground. The kid's girlfriend was like, "Stop! He's beating you up! Stop!" And it's like, and I went to my dad, bro, and I'll always remember this, right? So he's wearing this white tank top, and he has a hole ripped through his chest of the tank top, and I'm like, "Dad, Dad," and he like looked at me like for 1 second, like kind of flexed, you know what I mean? And I swore, bro, I saw death because he was like, "Yeah," and then I'm like, "Dad, it's me, Dad, it's me," and then he was like, "Okay, everybody
Okay.
okay?"
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, everybody's okay," and I'm like, he didn't know who, like he blacked out, you know what I mean? Hidden. Like, yeah, that was the craziest thing ever. So yeah, I'll actually probably do that over my own fight. Like, tell me what when you see a grown man that's not an MMA fighter or boxer clear out three college kids at the age of 48 by yourself that are decent sized guys who can fight.
Yeah, that's a great. That would have been on World Star.
Bro, he
That would
punched him so
that
hard
would
he
have.
went flying over those big mailboxes that you put in packages or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, those big ones. Yeah, he punched him so hard the kid went flying over it. And then he
Damn.
punched the other kid, and when he went to punch the other kid, he elbowed the other kid who ran up on him in the face. That he dropped the one kid, turned around, and grabbed the other kid by his throat and started choking him, and then threw him like onto the ground. It was yeah, that would have been dude. It would have been like yeah, it'd been World Star all over, bro. Like yeah, I'm just gonna be honest. Like I'm gonna sound like a wuss, but like I already said it, my dad would have beat my butt even as an upper
Yeah.
60-year-old until he had the hip surgery and femur. Now I just kick him in the hip. Wow.
That's awful. That's
No,
awful.
no, I'd never do that. The
Yeah.
problem is like when we'd goof around, bro, like when we'd wrestle, you know what I mean? Even my like mid
Yeah.
20s, late 20s, he always had the reach on me. You know what I mean? Because I'm 6 foot, he's 6'3",
Yeah.
and so he'd just grab me and just like, yeah, dude. My wife would laugh and be like, "Man, your dad's a man." I was like, "Damn." Calm down. But no, that, anyways, that's just to sum it up. That his Colville fight, bro. If you would have been there or you would have saw the video, you'd been like flabbergasted. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I still think that the one that happened like recently when you were at the game was probably the funniest one just because of what anti anti did because you posted in the Discord, oh, I might need some help getting bailed out of jail, and then he took a picture of a penny and then sent it over. I
Yeah,
thought
that was funny. I don't know if they ever thought it was if it was a real story or not.
I think yeah, I think that they thought that you were joking around at first, but then you were serious. You were
Yeah, that fight was crazy, man. But you don't talk about people's kids. You know what I mean? And
yeah
that guy could take a punch too, man. Bastard, but I can take a punch too. The only thing that sucks about fighting, and I'm gonna be honest, is during the melee, like you feel like Superman, right? And then the
yeah
next morning, I'm like, damn, my jaw hurts.
because the adrenaline's worn
Yeah,
off
it's just
by
shoot. Yeah, it's just shooting through you. Like I took 2 cracks to the jaw, bro. Bam,
the
bam, and I ate them like they were like Rice Krispie treats.
yeah.
Didn't knock me out. Didn't hurt me. The fireman grabbed me, tackled me down the steps. Um, I got back up and I looked at everybody and I said, "Who wants some? Anybody? What?" And I was serious because I was, and I didn't hurt at all. I was sipping beer and I don't even drink beer when the police were interviewing me. I don't even drink beer, dog. But I was drinking beer. Like I was like, it was like a natural high. You know what I mean? But
Right,
then the
right.
next morning I was like, "Ow, my jaw hurts."
Yeah.
Craziest thing, man. That yeah. So, anyways, that just to sum it up, man. But I'm gonna get on weekend league, bro. Do you got anything else to say?
No, not really. I appreciate you guys for checking in. And for those of you that's gonna catch this on the replay, but that's pretty much it for me. Definitely tune in this weekend to see some weekend league. I got a little bit of a wager going on with Shane,
Yeah.
so that'll be fun to watch as well. So that's pretty much it for me.
All right, you guys. For Trey, for me, this is the West Coast Podcast. We'll be back December 10th. We'll talk then.